So without further ado, let me introduce you Ondrej from Siemens Smart Infrastructure in Zurich. He's the lead of connectivity at Edge, and he focuses on enabling businesses through a platform that commoditizes connectivity challenges into accessible API. He's an engineer by nature and also a love of open source projects. So please, Ondrej, go ahead. The floor is yours.
So yeah, I was thinking like how to basically Siemens is a huge company. So firstly, I was thinking I will give you a rough introduction about what Siemens is doing and basically where the connectivity in Edge belongs to, because you might find Siemens devices at your home. You can find it in a train and also in the substation. So where basically we are using Web of Things, and it may also happen that it happens that not only we are using it as like the project I'm leading, but there are also different projects which are using the Web of Things. So you might find very many people using this standard in a different manners. So where I come from is I come from the smart infrastructure. So I will explain what does it mean. So first of all, the Siemens is now focusing a lot into in the digital transformation, optimizing the resource consumption in all countries and verticals. So that's also how we are organized and where do we see potential. So we have a group, or like it's not a business unit, it's a segment which is called digital industries. Then we have a smart infrastructure, mobility and healthcare, and these are like very huge groups within the Siemens. Where I belong to, that's about the smart infrastructure. And when you look at only on the smart infrastructure, then we talk about like in 2023 now, I think it's around 78,000 employees with the revenue about 20 billions. So it's really a huge amount of manpower we have, and also of like connected devices and things we sell. So when we talk about the connectivity, it can really scale to huge numbers. And also the pain we feel, our engineers and operational engineers feel when onboarding so many different protocols is really huge. And this is what we are trying to look at as just one of the aspects of the connectivity and Edge, how to basically connect easier the field devices to the cloud or to different systems. So, but to make it even more complicated, the smart infrastructure is split again into different business units. We have something like fast-grown business and business units, and we have like 3 core business units, which is called electrical products. These are, you might know these devices. I will go into the details, but these are the production devices and switches. Then we have like building products, another group where again, like where I am currently located, and this is about like fire safety, the room automation sensors, valves, and so on. And then we have also electrification and automation, which is about medium voltage switch gears and different devices which you find in substations, on the streets, power plants, and so on. So very bright scope of what we are working with. But probably to give you also like a bit of insights about what devices are we talking about. So yeah, when we come from Siemens and we go to smart infrastructure and then we go to electrical products, so talking also about like 10,000s of employees and huge revenue, we are talking here about like series and central devices which you find in the cabinets. These are like protection devices. Like I think you might know these devices here in the center. They are very well known, and you find them everywhere. So it's not only about buildings, residential buildings. It's also about industrial applications, substations. So for example, power meters. This is what you might using from Siemens and so on. From the electrification and automation, there we come to devices which you don't like. High-end, I would say, for like switch gears for distributions and distribution companies. Here it really depends what you can connect, because the customer are not always willing to bring everything to the cloud. But also here we see the trend that customers are changing their opinion, mainly if they need to scale and deliver security vulnerability fixes more often than it was before. And the third group or the business unit of the Siemens is called building products. There we have like devices from, it's only around buildings, so it's about the fire detection or the IoT automation, so automation devices for controlling of the rooms or like whole floors, depends how you model it. So everything what you find in the business buildings is like definitely in Siemens buildings is controlled through our building management systems and automation systems. Okay, so I really try to scope it to this Web of Things meetup. The question is, which we always get asked, we also within Siemens, how as easy as possible we can connect these different devices to different systems. So on one side, you might have customers who wants to connect these devices to the cloud, bring the data to the Azure storage or to AWS S3 or to our offerings like Building X and Electrification X, and what is the easiest way. So if you come from these different business units, these devices are talking completely different protocols. It's not like Siemens has one protocol for every device, because you have different regulations in different domains. So when we talk about a power substation, we talk about completely different protocols than when we are in the industry market and start to talk about the Profinet and OPC way. And then when we come to the buildings domain, we start to talk about the BACnet and our most famous Modbus. So it's really very hard to come to one thing and one standardization how to talk to these devices, and this is basically where the Web of Things is helping us. So the problem which we solve is on kind of a digitalization journey of the customer to, as quick as possible, bring him online and start to talk with these devices which are like industry devices. So we are focused on one side with the application we are developing on the real customer problem to really enable there are many offerings from Siemens, and how as fast as possible we can send and offer them these offerings without having a hassle on the connectivity layer. How also give him the possibility to integrate against the APIs we have on our edge system. How to support as much as possible OT protocols or field protocols which are out there and our Siemens devices are talking, and how to be able to run on different edge platforms, because there are a couple of edge platforms we have also in Siemens, which are and also out of the Siemens, and you need to basically ship this application in a different formats, let's say, so a customer has the same user experience and can utilize it in the same way. And now coming directly to the point. So we have a component. I will basically show you the demo afterwards. These are just like high level slides, which is called Smart Edge Connector. This is the application which is on one side connecting to the field devices, and it's bringing the data to either like cloud systems, or there might be some different system or application running also at the edge, which directly communicates to these devices. But these application developers don't want to understand these field protocols. So the question is how to, as easy as possible, enable the communication to field world without necessity of understand all of these protocols. Mainly, if we as a Siemens are handling every possible market, it would be really impossible. Or you invest too much time into commodity, which is a connectivity. So yeah, that's basically also our proposition. We try to make out of this connectivity to field devices the commodity, so we basically get the revenue and build the business somewhere else and not really in these connectors. So basically on this picture, I think Matthias is also here. This is from one conference presentation. The idea is simple. Independently of the field device I have there, because if you come to a building, you have there everything. You can find their OPC device, you will find their BACnet device, you find a Modbus device, and you want to bring everything to your system to have an overall big picture and have some good business use case on top of that. So how can I simply bring all of these devices which are in the building to my system, so my application can talk to these devices without knowing these protocols or without having an expertise in Profinet, OPC, and so on. So there is also another activity in the Siemens where the devices we are developing, they have their own APIs. So here we talk about, for example, EP, electrical products, and they are developing these Centron and Centron devices, for example. This is what we used. And they have like internal database where they have like all the APIs documented. So if the device speaks Modbus or if it speaks the Profinet, they have basically a system where they find all the documentation about the API, and they export it into different formats. So you can find the documentation for the device in the PDF. You can find like a different configuration files. And the first activity we did that we configure or we export this configuration also in the think models. So that was like a first activity we had to standardize it into the like Web of Things format, so the think models, and make use of it in the Smart Edge connector. The second step was, and I saw also Petram, he's driving this topic, is to have like a think model catalog. So have like for Siemens centralized a service or like a system responsible for our application hosting all of the possible think models we can work with as a system. So on one side we have a channel between like internal developers in the Siemens developing the devices who are pushing the think models to our think model catalog. And then we have like consumers for us, for example, us, the Smart Edge connector, who is directly going to this catalog. So I will show it to you at the end. And if customer is searching that, yeah, I know that I have in my building the Power Center 1000, I can search for it. I will download it from the catalog, and then I directly know how to work with this device. I don't have to go to the PDF. I don't have to copy paste the documentation or even type it inside. I'm sorry, I always have it in place. And this is simplifying really extremely the provisioning process for the customers and bringing then the data to the cloud or to the system where they need to have this data. So yeah, as I mentioned, this is already like out of the context of the Web of Things, but this is basically where our customers and how are they trying to use this information. Simple provision, because what matters is how quick we can go through this engineering process and bring the data to different platforms like some AWS IoT, what means like MQTT broker, and do some processing there, or bringing to the built-in gigs to have the data in the operational manager and so on, or electrification X to monitor what substations are in which version and if there are any security vulnerabilities and so on and so forth. So these are basically the use cases we want to have as fast as possible with as low effort on the engineering side as available. Yeah, I will skip most of the parts here. Basically, the focus of the Smart Edge connector is really the interoperability, providing the commodity connectivity layer, where the main crucial role on the southbound side, so on the field side, is utilizing of the Web of Things. So making use of the Think catalog, which is also like open source, and using the content which we get directly from us, from Siemens, from device producers, and supporting the easy provisioning and enabling the fast business growth on the side of the cloud and the applications we are building. Good. So that would be a crash course into how we are utilizing the Web of Things. I will show you now how the applications looks like. I won't go through every details because there are that's just one part of it. But if you have any questions which I can answer also during the demo, I would welcome them now until I also set up and authenticate myself.
But it's better to ask them at the end so that we don't interrupt the recording.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, yeah. Then
let's make sure to finish the presentation, and then if people already have questions, please just write them in the chat or Q&A. Then we will basically direct them to Ondrej. Yeah.
Yeah, good. No, I am anyway already online.
Perfect. Right, thanks.
Good. So basically, this is just one of the applications we have in the like connectivity and edge platform. The scope of this application is to, as I described here, to run on some edge platform, so run on the customer side, connect to the field devices available there, and bring the data somewhere else, right? So this is basically the scope of this one component. And what you see here is the UI running on some edge gateway, IPC, whatever, running on the customer side, and where I am like remotely connected. So, okay, I was supposed to delete this. So what we have here, for example, is the Power Center 1000, just to give you how this device looks like. This is the device where I'm connected to over Modbus. This is from Siemens Electrical Products. And yeah, so basically the definition of this device is all like thing based. So as you can see here, we have the thing description, which is describing everything as it was defined by this development team, and we are just taking this information. I will show you how, and connecting to this device. So what I just need to do, because I didn't wrote it down, is the IP of this device, because this is in the lab. Okay, so let me delete it. Yeah, so as I mentioned, we are utilizing this think model catalog. There are two options. Customer can, of course, import directly the think model, he can directly import the think description. For example, if you have a repetitive setup that you know that each floor is the same, or it's not only for the building. So, for example, there is a customer which has 1,000 sites which are always the same. There is a PV like the photovoltaic, the e-charger, there is a battery, and so on. And we know how the setup exactly looks like, so we can have it already prepared. And what happens if for example, such a gateway is installed, we have the predefined configuration for that gateway ID or for the specific serial number, and we already know how to provision the system. So it's a matter of few clicks to basically have the whole system online, because it's always the same. Or if you are debugging something, or if you have this thing description already available, you can edit inside and then edit it as a raw JSON. Another part is the catalog, which I just showed here. So which I showed on the presentation. So firstly, this think model catalog we are using is an open source implementation. It's available here on the GitHub. And we are basically taking this implementation and hosting it on our own behind the API gateway, secured, and so on. So you can take it, host your models there as well, and use it in your system. So this is exactly what we are using. What you can do is you can, like, okay, let's say I'm an engineer of the building. I know that what do I have in the building is like the POC 1000 from Siemens. So what I can do is like a search for Siemens devices. What I can do is specify directly its POC. Okay, here I have the device. So this was basically the query to the think model catalog. I can select this device, go next. What am I asked for is the IP address of the device. So this is why I copied it out. And ID. So basically what we are doing, we are instantiating this think model. So at the end, we will have the think description based on the think model from the catalog. I don't know what Meetup POC 1000. Now basically this think model is downloaded, is extended by, or is transformed into the think description with the IP address, port, and this ID. And we have it now available in the system. So on one side, you can now go to devices. You see that we were able to connect to that device, which IP I defined, and we connected there over Modbus because that's what this think model was defined for. What I can do is I can go to properties. So what you see here is basically the visualized think description. This is the root part where you have the think ID, the title, types, and description. You can edit everything. You can go to properties. Here are all the properties of the think description. As you see, there is plenty of them, because if you take really the think model from the catalog, you have everything there. If you don't need it, you can of course delete it, whatever. But also the edit is very easy here, so I can go, these are not very nice properties. Whatever, it doesn't matter actually. So I can go to this Bluetooth state, and this is the definition of the property. So property affordance in the think model, think description. I can go to southbound. That's basically our terminology, where we have also the UI for the Modbus. So what you can see here is the representation of the Modbus form, and if you don't have a thing description, you can use also this UI for creation of this thing description. So directly, let's say there is a manufacturer who doesn't provide it yet, the think model for his device, but you have this huge PDF sheet. So yes, you can go to PDF, copy paste out the address, unit ID, and define the think model on your own. Of course, then you can export it and import it. So it simplifies your life in the future, but also this UI is pretty nice to make the job fast. Yeah, the status is 0 for whatever reason. Yeah, so that's basically it. What you can do here, but this device is not really configured, so some values are not really right, or some are encoded as strings because we are not taking, for example, responsibility for encoding it as the client needs. So we just read it from the register, from this Modbus registry as addresses as it is. Okay, so that would be basically it, right? The whole idea is, as I mentioned already probably 3 times, simplify the life of engineers, navigate them to one application, whatever protocol the device speaks, whatever use case they have, like sending the data to our systems, and simplify by having the think model catalog integration, searching for devices they want, and just with 3 simple clicks, provisioning the device, having it online, and getting the values. That's basically the deal we have, and that's where the responsibility of this component, not of the whole connectivity NH platform. That's basically what we commit to and what we deliver. Yeah, if you have any questions, please. But that was like a quick introduction into how we utilize the think model catalog and how it simplifies the life of Siemens engineers.